Have you ever felt like your life was under attack, even when nothing seemed wrong? Like something unseen keeps testing your peace, every thought, every emotion, every quiet moment. You wake up calm, but within hours the noise of the world tries to pull you into confusion again. It's not random, chosen one. What you're sensing is not weakness, it's warfare. This is not just another day on earth. This is the age of spiritual awakening, where light and darkness are clashing over energy, attention, and alignment. And you, whether you realize it or not, are standing on the front lines. Your calm spirit threatens everything chaotic. Your silence unsettles what hides in noise. The world may call it overthinking, but heaven calls it discernment. Because when God's chosen ones begin to see through the illusion, darkness starts to tremble. If these words already stir your spirit, type 444 or I am chosen 444 in the comments right now. This is not just engagement, it's agreement. You're declaring that you are chosen by God, ready to carry His light into every hidden battlefield. Listen carefully, chosen one. This is not coincidence, this is a prophetic word for the chosen ones awakening right now. You are standing in the middle of an invisible war, not fought with swords or noise, but with energy, with spirit, with vibration. This is energy warfare. It doesn't announce itself. It moves quietly through conversations, through emotions, through thoughts that don't even feel like your own. That's why sometimes you feel drained after being around certain people. It's why your peace unsettles those living in chaos. Because the light within the chosen one exposes every shadow near it. Some mornings you wake up tired, not because your body is weak, but because your spirit has been resisting unseen waves of pressure. Even in your dreams, your soul defends what God has given you. You've been fighting not to prove strength, but to preserve frequency. Every time you stay calm in the storm, heaven records another victory. While others chase validation, you have been chosen for alignment. Heaven does not train you to shout. Heaven trains you to hold frequency. Silence carries a vibration the enemy cannot imitate. When you remain still, you become invisible to distraction and invincible to fear. The battlefield is not out there. It is within you, your thoughts, your emotions, your spiritual atmosphere. The enemy doesn't need to destroy you if he can distract you. He doesn't need to touch you if he can make you doubt your own light. So he sends noise, urgency, fear, and anxiety to pull you off center. But peace is your defense. Every time you return to stillness, every dark wave loses power. Here is God's message today. Your quiet nature was never a flaw, it was divine design. God hid your strength in silence so the enemy could never predict your next move. Every time you chose peace instead of reaction, heaven recorded it as victory. Every time you walked away instead of arguing, your spirit advanced. Every time you forgave what others called unforgivable, your frequency rose above reach. That is what makes you unstoppable. Not noise, not recognition, but alignment with light. You were not born to compete. You were born to command energy. The power within you doesn't need to shout. It only needs to align. When your frequency is anchored in divine light, darkness trembles before you. That is why you have often felt misunderstood. The world worships noise, but heaven speaks through stillness. The strongest warriors of light are not the loudest. They are the most stable. They carry the calm of God in the midst of storms. That calm, that peace dismantles chaos. So when people question your quietness or mistake your silence for weakness, remember, your stillness is a weapon. Your patience is armor. Your peace is protection. Every season of isolation was not punishment. It was preparation. Heaven trained you in silence because soon your presence will speak louder than words. You are one of God's chosen ones, and you are being equipped for the unseen war. Even when no one applauds your quiet victories, the angels record them. Even when no one notices your restraint, heaven celebrates it. The war you fight is invisible, but so is your victory. And today, chosen one, receive this prophetic word again. Your quiet nature is not an accident, it is divine strategy. In a world of noise, silence has become heaven's sharpest weapon, and you, the chosen one, were born to wield it. Guard your peace deliberately. Breathe before you answer. Pray before you post. Pause until your spirit feels weightless again. Let your eyes return to heaven before your hands return to work. This is how the chosen by God moves slow enough to hear the whisper, bold enough to obey it. Each small obedience writes a line in heaven's ledger beside your name. Faithful, steady, luminous. Receive this as a prophetic word, and as God's message today. You are not falling behind. You are being refined. You are not overlooked. You are being reserved. When the appointed moment arrives, grace will accelerate what effort never could. Be still, and watch the quiet ones always win the loudest wars. You've learned to fight without fists, chosen one. While others battle with noise, you've been mastering silence, because silence is not emptiness. It is energy in its purest form. Your quiet strength confuses the world because it cannot measure it. People see silence and assume weakness, but heaven sees silence and calls it power. This is the mystery of God's chosen ones. They carry storms inside, yet walk with peace on their faces. They have cried in the spirit, but still speak gently. They have been rejected, overlooked, underestimated, and still they bless others. That is strength not born of the flesh, but of light. Every moment you held your tongue instead of defending your worth, heaven marked that as growth. Every time you chose prayer over pride, your spiritual muscles grew stronger. You don't need to prove who you are. Your energy speaks before your mouth does. Even silence can shake the atmosphere when it comes from alignment with God. The truth is, spiritual maturity doesn't look like fire all the time. Sometimes, it looks like calm eyes in the middle of chaos. It looks like forgiveness when revenge would feel easier. It looks like stillness while others panic. That stillness is your anointing. It's the signal that you have been chosen by God to stand where others collapse. Your presence itself becomes a sermon. Without saying a word, you change rooms. Without lifting a hand, you shift the air. Because your peace is not passive. It's a shield of divine frequency. When you carry heaven's vibration, even darkness feels it before you arrive. And yet, the quiet ones are often the most misunderstood. They are accused of being cold, distant, or prideful. But heaven knows. Silence is their strength, not their distance. They are not detached, they are discerning. They don't withdraw to avoid people, they withdraw to stay aligned with purpose. If you feel this calm power awakening inside you, comment 111 or I carry divine calm 111. The teachers too have the actin. You're not declaring perfection, you're declaring peace. Heaven hears it, and every storm around you will start to quiet down. This is the prophetic word behind your quiet strength. When the world shouts for control, you stay surrendered. When others rush, you wait for God's timing. When they panic, you breathe. That breath is prayer. That patience is prophecy. Many have mistaken your peace for passivity, but the truth is, you were built for longevity. Rage burns quickly, but light endures. And endurance is the true mark of the chosen ones. You don't shine because you're perfect. You shine because you're steady. God trusts consistency more than charisma. That's why he hid you in seasons of silence to build strength that doesn't depend on applause. Remember how often you felt invisible? That was by design. Heaven covered you so that pride wouldn't find you before purpose did. You were being trained quietly while the world chased noise. And now, when you walk into a place, your stillness carries authority. You don't need to say, I'm different. The spiritual realm already knows it. Even angels recognize the frequency of a soul that's in alignment. They gather around those who carry divine calm, because that calm is proof of faith. Faith doesn't need to scream, it simply remains. And that is your power. That is the core of your strength. Unshaken presence. The enemy can imitate passion but never peace. He can mimic joy but never stillness. He can copy words but never energy rooted in the spirit. That's why peace is heaven's signature, it cannot be faked. And you, chosen one, carry that signature everywhere you go. You are not behind, you are being refined. You are not forgotten, you are being formed. Every delay you've endured was discipline. Every silence was strength training. You've been learning to hold power without boasting, to radiate light without demanding recognition. One day, those who dismissed your calm will understand it was protection. You weren't ignoring them. You were preserving your peace. You weren't avoiding conflict. You were choosing alignment. You weren't weak. You were wise. So continue walking gently, chosen one. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to maintain frequency. Because when your spirit stays still, heaven moves faster on your behalf, and the universe itself begins to adjust around your peace. This is God's message today. Your quietness is not a flaw, it's a feature of the divine design. When you refuse to react, you create space for miracles. When you remain still, you allow heaven to work where words would only get in the way. The strong shout to be heard, but the chosen radiate, and their silence speaks louder than thunder. Have you ever noticed how chaos seems to find you even when you avoid it? You don't seek drama, yet drama tries to follow your peace. You don't provoke people, yet their spirits shift when you walk into the room. Chosen one, that's not coincidence, it's recognition. Darkness can sense light before light speaks. Energy doesn't lie. Everywhere you go, your spirit radiates a frequency that exposes what hides in others. People may not understand it, but their demons do. That's why attacks often come from those you tried to help, because the darkness inside them reacts to the light inside you. This is spiritual warfare, subtle but relentless. The enemy studies your peace because he fears what it can do. Your calm dismantles confusion, your restraint disarms control, and your stillness weakens manipulation. The truth is, the quiet ones are heaven's most strategic weapons. They fight on frequencies others can't hear. They win wars without noise. They break curses by presence alone, because where they stand, light becomes visible, and darkness cannot stay hidden. But that visibility attracts attack. When you begin to glow spiritually, shadows start to move. They whisper through doubt, distraction, and discouragement. They use people who cannot see your spirit to drain your energy. They want you to second-guess your calling, to believe you're overreacting. They want to convince you that the battle isn't real, so you'll stop standing guard. You've felt it before, haven't you? That strange heaviness after sharing your dreams with the wrong person. That sudden fatigue when you enter certain rooms. That tension that appears right after you decide to step deeper into purpose. That's not imagination, it's interference. The moment you align with heaven's plan, the enemy launches distraction, because peace is his greatest threat. He doesn't fear loud believers, he fears peaceful warriors. The ones who pray quietly but powerfully. The ones who love relentlessly, even when unloved. The ones who keep shining, even when unseen. Every chosen one experiences this, because every chosen one carries light the world needs. The enemy doesn't waste energy attacking those who serve no purpose. He targets value, and you, chosen by God, carry divine value. Your peace is proof of your rank in the spirit. That's why your isolation wasn't punishment, it was positioning. Heaven had to hide you from people who would dim your light before you learned how to protect it. Now, you're learning that rejection was redirection. You're learning that spiritual attacks are confirmations of assignment. And you're learning that silence is not surrender, it's surveillance. The quiet ones see what the loud miss. If this truth burns in your spirit, declare 333, or I rise in light 333. This is not a comment, it's a confirmation. You're telling both heaven and darkness that your light cannot be hidden, your peace cannot be stolen, and your mission cannot be stopped. Listen carefully, God's chosen one. The enemy attacks, not because you are weak, but because you are strong. He fears your awakening. He fears your authority. He fears your stillness, because your stillness connects you directly to heaven. When you stop reacting, his plan collapses. When you stop explaining, confusion dies. When you stop defending, peace expands. That's why he keeps testing your patience. It's the gate of your power. Every time you stay calm, you take territory in the spirit realm. You were never meant to fit in because you were built to stand out. You are heaven's evidence that peace is stronger than panic, and love is stronger than fear. You walk through storms not because you deserve pain, but because light must enter where darkness hides. God trusts you to be that light. That's why certain seasons felt like isolation. It was consecration. While others were busy being seen, you were being shaped. While they chased attention, you learned discernment. And now, when you step forward, your silence carries authority that words cannot create. The enemy fears that authority. He fears what happens when the chosen ones fully awaken, because when awakened souls unite in peace, no darkness can stand against them. Peace is not passive, it's power restrained. It's thunder disguised as whisper, and that whisper is shaking the spiritual realm right now. So, chosen one, stop questioning why attacks increase when you grow quieter. You're not under attack because you're failing. You're targeted because you're evolving. Every new level of peace exposes a deeper layer of chaos. But remember, chaos cannot touch what vibrates in divine order. You are in divine order. You are covered. And you are chosen for this exact moment in time. This is God's message today. Do not fear attention from darkness. It's proof of your progress. Do not retreat when pressure rises. It means your light is expanding. Do not let the noise pull you away from peace. It's peace that wins the war. Stay still. Stay radiant. Stay unbothered. Because even when darkness moves, it cannot touch what heaven guards. You are guarded, you are guided, and you are glowing. So lift your head, chosen one. This is not the enemy's hour, it's yours. Heaven is revealing your quiet strength to the world. And soon, those who misunderstood your silence will recognize it for what it truly is. Divine authority wrapped in peace. Silence has always been misunderstood. The world thinks silence means defeat, but in heaven's language, silence means strength perfected. Chosen one, this is the mystery of divine warfare. When your voice stops, your vibration speaks. When you stop arguing, your energy begins commanding. You no longer fight noise with noise. You let your peace do the talking. Every time you stay calm under pressure, you activate a shield invisible to the human eye. It's made of faith, frequency, and fire. It cannot be seen, but every dark force can feel it. It's the light that burns without heat, the power that protects without sound. This is the shield of silence, and heaven forged it in your quiet years. For a long time, you wondered why God didn't let you respond to those who hurt you. You had words to defend yourself, but the Spirit said, "Be still." You had proof to clear your name, but heaven whispered, "Wait." And though it felt like surrender, it was actually strategy. Because silence keeps your hands clean while heaven fights for you. Remember the moments you bit your tongue while others lied? Remember when you chose to pray instead of retaliate? That wasn't weakness, it was warfare. You were building armor the enemy couldn't see. And now that armor glows, your silence has become a mirror, reflecting light so pure that darkness cannot approach. In this prophetic word, heaven wants you to understand. You are no longer defending yourself. Your energy defends you. The peace you carry confuses the enemy because it doesn't react. The less you respond to chaos, the more chaos exposes itself. The less you speak out of pain, the more your presence speaks out of purpose. Your silence is a weapon sharpened by restraint. It cuts through deceit without shedding blood. It dismantles confusion without a single word. Because truth doesn't shout, it shines. Chosen one, you've entered a level of warfare where words are no longer required. You win now by vibration, by presence, by peace. This is mastery, the art of letting heaven speak louder than your emotions. You don't chase revenge, you create resonance. You don't seek to win arguments. You seek to maintain alignment, and that alignment makes you untouchable. Demons cannot access what vibrates in peace. They scream for reaction, but receive none. They send insult and receive silence. They throw shadows and are blinded by your glow. That's why your silence irritates the enemy, because it reveals how powerless he truly is. When you stop reacting, his strategy collapses. He planned chaos around your emotions, but peace rewrote the outcome. Now he's confused, panicking, desperate because every time you choose calm, you prove his failure. Heaven has made your stillness his downfall. The enemy doesn't know how to fight a believer who refuses to fight back. That's the paradox of the chosen ones. They conquer without conflict. They destroy darkness by embodying light. They confuse fear by radiating faith. And they overcome evil not by resistance but by resonance. If this truth feels alive in you, whisper right now, "My silence is light." You don't need to comment it, speak it aloud. Let your voice carry it into your atmosphere until peace surrounds you like armor. You see, peace is not the absence of sound, it's the presence of God. When your soul stays still, heaven has space to move. That's why the chosen ones are always misunderstood. People mistake stillness for absence, but stillness is where creation begins. In Genesis, before God spoke light, there was silence. And from that silence came everything that exists. You carry that same creative silence now. That's why you've been isolated. It wasn't punishment. It was preparation for manifestation. Heaven hid you to teach you how to hold peace even when storms rage. And now that you've mastered stillness, heaven can trust you with sound again. The next time you open your mouth, it won't be to explain, it will be to declare. Your words will carry authority because they were born from silence. Your presence will heal rooms because it was refined in stillness. You are not just walking in light, you are shielded by light. This is God's message today. Your silence has graduated from survival to strength. You no longer hide in quiet, you command from it. You no longer whisper in weakness, you radiate in wisdom. And from this day forward, heaven will use your peace as proof that light always wins. So stand tall, chosen one. Your silence is glowing. Your shield is rising. And your victory has already begun. Because when peace becomes your weapon, no darkness can ever touch you again. Every battle you've fought, every tear you've shed, every silence you've kept, it was never random. Chosen one, nothing in your story has been wasted. Every delay was divine timing. Every loss was a redirection. Every rejection was protection. And every moment of stillness was part of heaven's plan to teach you the divine strategy. God's strategy doesn't look like man's strategy. Where the world says, fight back, heaven says, stand still. Where people chase power, heaven teaches peace. Where others shout, the chosen ones listen. Because in the silence of obedience, heaven builds victory. You've spent years thinking you were behind, but you were actually being trained in spiritual intelligence. You learned to recognize energy, to sense motives, to see truth behind words. You learned to stay calm when provoked and silent when tempted. You learned that timing is stronger than talking. Now you are entering the season of divine precision. God is placing you where your peace will have purpose. He is sending you into rooms not to argue, but to align. Your very presence will shift atmospheres. You won't need to explain. Your vibration will testify. People will feel your peace before they hear your voice. And this is God's message today. You are heaven's quiet ambassador. You've been chosen not just to survive darkness, but to direct light. You are the calm in a world addicted to chaos. You are the clarity that confuses confusion. You are the mirror through which others glimpse the divine. The chosen ones are not sent to win arguments, they are sent to restore balance. Your energy is medicine for a frantic generation. Your consistency is prophecy in motion. When you move with love, you break strongholds. When you forgive, you reset timelines. When you pray in secret, you change outcomes in public. Heaven is revealing your next assignment. Lead without noise, heal without announcement, conquer without conflict. The enemy can't predict this kind of strategy because it doesn't fit his logic. He understands chaos, not calm. He understands reaction, not restraint. He understands noise, not silence. That's why peace is the ultimate weapon. It bypasses his understanding entirely. Your silence was your training ground. Now your obedience becomes your strategy. You don't need to explain destiny to those who mock it. You simply walk it until they see. Because light doesn't argue with darkness, it just shines. If this message reached your soul, type "Stay Chosen 777" in the comments. It's not just a phrase, it's a prophecy that your light will keep expanding, your peace will keep guiding, and your destiny will keep unfolding. Chosen one, the time for silence as survival is ending. Now begins silence as strategy. The world is getting louder, but your assignment is to remain clear. You are not here to react, you are here to reign. And reigning doesn't mean shouting, it means radiating. You are stepping into a season where your very existence will teach others how to breathe again. When people enter your presence, anxiety will lift. When they hear your words, confusion will fade. You won't need a pulpit, your peace is your platform. This is the era of God's chosen ones. They're not famous, they're faithful. They're not loud, they're luminous. They don't seek the stage, they carry the spirit. They're the hidden warriors who restore light without being seen. And you, chosen by God, are one of them. So as you leave this message, remember, the divine strategy is not to force doors open, it's to walk through those heaven unlocks. It's not to convince anyone, it's to carry truth quietly until recognition comes. It's not to dominate, it's to demonstrate. Your peace is your prophecy. Your restraint is your roar. Your silence is your song. When others panic, you will pause. When others complain, you will create. When others react, you will remember. You are chosen. And because you are chosen, nothing that rises against you can prevail. Every attack will fail before it forms. Every word spoken against you will reverse itself into blessing. Every delay will become direction. Because heaven's strategy never fails, it only unfolds. So breathe deeply, chosen one. The war is already won. You are simply walking out the victory. And your peace is proof that heaven has already gone before you.